something very strange and very weird is happening in Canada. It's totally weird. It's totally a mystery. And people are just starting to pick up on this today. It involves Mark Carney, the federal Liberal leadership frontrunner, the guy that many people in Canada expect to be prime minister. So there's this weird thing that is going down. I've got some sort of inside gossip for you about this, and I want to break it down for you. Before I do that, guys, I need to remind you that I and you face Justin Trudeau's censorship bills, Bill C-18, Bill C-11, and again, Bill C-63, which could always come back from the dead. So in order for me to be able to communicate this information to you, information that you're not necessarily going to hear on the mainstream media in any way, shape, or form, I need to be able to directly communicate with you. So I need you to click subscribe to the link that's about to be in the comments, or if you're watching this on YouTube, in the video description. If you click subscribe, it's free. It allows me to directly communicate with you in your inbox. The article that I've written there talks about some of the tariff issues that are happening between Canada and the US, some of the things that aren't being discussed in the mainstream media. It's important for me to be able to communicate with you. I need you to click subscribe. Many of you ask me, how can I help? How can I help you? How can I help the Conservative Party get rid of the Liberal government? Being able to communicate with you and spread the word is job number one. So if you click subscribe, it allows me to get through those censorship bills, social media, news bans, all of that sort of stuff, algorithm. So please click subscribe. So what is going on with Mark Carney? So it was about a full week ago, that Mark Carney launched his leadership campaign in Edmonton. Now, again, just as a reminder, whoever wins the Liberal leadership race will become Prime Minister of Canada. And it's a very short race. It'll be over on March 9th. So it's not like they have like a year to campaign or months and months and months. They literally only have a few weeks. So you'd think in the first week of the leadership campaign, this guy would be all over the place. He would be out talking about, policy and his vision for the country, especially since people had been calling him the front runner, right? It's been a week and this guy is nowhere. He's nowhere to be found. Seriously, go look. He hasn't taken any media questions. Zero media questions. He's done nothing. And he kind of has just disappeared. Now, here's some of the gossip. People in Ottawa have started to pick up on this. They've started to go like, this is really strange. This is a man who's likely going to be prime minister. So there's many issues that he should be out talking about, answering to Canadians, or at least trying to persuade, at the very least, Liberal members to vote for him, right? Why would a Liberal leadership candidate who only has a few weeks of runway ahead of him be completely silent? Now, it's extra doubly odd because Mark Carney is not known for being shy with cameras or media. In fact, this man for the last decade plus, more than that, has courted media attention. You can find pictures of him even in social magazines like Hello Magazine and sort of like gossip magazines. This is a man who likes to be photographed. He likes to be out in the media. He likes to, he's done virtually every panel you can possibly think of. There's endless hours of media of Mark Carney. So now all of a sudden, right after he launches his campaign, he goes silent. It's super strange. It's super sus. It's super, super weird. So there's a couple of interesting pieces of gossip that's not necessarily out in the public yet. So we know Mark Carney is in Ottawa today. I'm in Ottawa today as well, taking some meetings and getting some work done. But the Liberal caucus is meeting in Ottawa. Okay, so they're having a meeting. And we heard today that there's an event taking place off the hill that Mark Carney is apparently hosting. So it's at a little site. I won't, out of respect for security and stuff, I won't dox where it is. But there's an event happening allegedly for Mark Carney to host Liberal MPs. Yet he's not taking questions in the media. Today, you would think that today would be the perfect day with the Liberal caucus there and the parliamentary press gallery for Mark Carney to go and do a scrum, right? Everybody's set up. He could go and stand up and say, hey, I'm happy to answer questions today, to try and get some publicity for his campaign. Because remember, even though he's the front runner, there are other people running against him, including Deputy Prime Minister, former Deputy Prime Minister and Finance Minister Chrystia Freeland, who also has a lot of caucus endorsements. So it seems really weird that this guy won't even take questions. Now, you're going to ask, okay, well, what's your theory? Why do you think he's not doing this? Well, first of all, this man doesn't want to answer questions. And why? Because he has deeply unpopular ideas that he wants to just impose on Canada. And remember, he's not a member of parliament. He's not even a senator. He's never been elected to anything. He hasn't held office. He's never been a parliamentarian. Yet he's about to he could become prime minister. So he has very deeply unpopular ideas, including supporting the federal carbon tax. Yesterday, he put out Stephen Guilbeault, Canada's most radical environment minister. And this man endorsed Mark Carney and said that the carbon tax wasn't dead. He said that he supported the carbon tax. So, I think, is Mark Carney avoiding questions on the carbon tax? Of course he is, because he wants to be able to continue to lie to you about his position on a very costly, very expensive policy that he's promoted for decades. He doesn't want to be questioned on his record on that. He also doesn't want to be questioned on things like natural resource development at a time when we're facing tariffs and crisis. He doesn't want to be questioned on healthcare or, anything. Like many of you have questions about federal healthcare. He's certainly not put himself out for that. Today there's every day. I mean, I watched some very terrifying footage on the news loop this morning about a shooting that happened in broad daylight. There's all sorts of crime. Canada's experiencing a major crime wave. Is he going to continue the Liberals' catch and release policies, bail policies? Is he going to continue their sort of decade-long quest to legalize hard drugs? There's just so many areas of policy that this man, again, he has swum in the wokest of circles in global public policy for a decade and been almost like an archpriest of many of these sort of woke philosophies. Many of his, some of his initiatives are falling apart now. But I think he's hiding because he wants to become prime minister without taking a single question from the media or from any of you. He's not doing things like this, making himself available on social media even, right? You see from me in videos all the time, even though Justin Trudeau and the Liberals, I'm sure with the support of Mark Carney and Chrystia Freeland have prorogued Parliament. I'm looking right across the street at it right now. I'm coming to you and telling you what I'm hearing and what I believe. I don't think we should have a carbon tax. I think that we should be fixing the budget, axing the tax, stopping the crime, and building homes. It's very clear. But it's not clear what Mark Carney is going to do as an unelected man who just wants to waltz into the prime minister's office. So again, just think about this. In such a short leadership race, when even Chrystia Freeland, she had a terrible policy day, announcement day yesterday. I will talk about that in a separate video. But she was out there. She was saying, this is what I believe. I think it's a lie, but she was in front of the cameras. She exists. But this guy, he's a shadow. He's shadowy. Where is he? Why isn't he talking to Canadians as an unelected man in the middle of a leadership race? It's super sus. And again, if you back up, he probably thinks this is okay. He probably thinks that he doesn't have to take a single question as an unelected person who could become Prime Minister of Canada in a few short weeks. Now, I don't like it when conservatives play victim on stuff like this, but can you imagine if Pierre Poilievre was just disappeared for weeks on end? Pierre Poilievre has done the leader of the Conservative Party of Canada. He's done multiple mainstream news interviews this week. He's been very firm in what he believes. And the thing is, if Mark Carney wants to be the Prime Minister of Canada and lead the Liberal Party into the next election, it's kind of sus for him to be like, I'm just going to disappear. Even though I love fame and I love the media and I love the cameras, I'm just going to disappear right now and not talk to Canadians. How arrogant is that? I mean, I'll close with this. Maybe he is just that arrogant, right? Like, this is a man who probably, like, I know, like, he's at the royal box at Wimbledon. He's dined with royals. He is not just like, he's not just an insider. He runs the club. So maybe he just doesn't want to talk to Canadians. Maybe he thinks he's above that. I can guarantee you this is a man who's never knocked a door in his life. He's never talked to an average person. And can you imagine? He's hiding. He's hid for an entire week during a leadership race that could see him become Prime Minister of Canada. How arrogant is that? It's unbelievable. It's ridiculous, really. So, yeah, that is the weird, gossipy insider tea in Ottawa today. Where is Mark Carney? Why is he hiding? Now, folks, I need you to share this. You're not going to see this on the mainstream media news loops, right? They're not going to report on this. They are not. Liberal-friendly media are not going to point out the fact that Mark Carney is hiding. They're not. They won't do it. So I need you to share this video. If you share this video, you help me get the word out. And I also need you to click subscribe to the link that's in the comments. If you click subscribe, it allows me to directly communicate with you. It allows me to get through Justin Trudeau's censorship bills that have caused news bans in Canada, that prevent this. You know, seriously, Mark Carney benefits. Hiding Mark Carney, mystery, disappearing Mark Carney, shadowy Mark Carney benefits from Justin Trudeau's social media censorship bills because he's hiding from you. Let me talk to you about this stuff by clicking on the link in the comments or the video description and click subscribe. I can't even with these guys. I cannot even with these guys. Working hard for you. Have a great day.